The Donghua begins with an old man named Li Bai, who was a poet and loved to write beautiful poems. One day, he was feeling really sad because he wanted some wine to enjoy life, especially since he knew he didn't have much time left. Late at night, he sat and thought about the poems he had written. Then, another poet named Dong Jiang came along. He told Li Bai that his poems were amazing and admired by everyone. Dong Jiang wanted to make sure Li Bai's talent would be remembered forever, so he decided to use a special brush to capture his skill. Dong Jiang also gave Li Bai a bottle of wine to cheer him up. At that time, Li Bai drank every last drop of the wine and suddenly felt inspired. His hands moved quickly, and he wrote some of his most beautiful poetry on the paper in front of him. After that, Dong Jiang acted to capture Li Bai's essence into the spirit brush, creating a magical brush that flew away to meet a master elsewhere. Dong Jiang then said goodbye to Li Bai. The story shifts to modern-day China. There's a young man named Luo Zong, who's busy browsing his university's website to pick his courses. Luo Zong has a habit of procrastinating and only chooses his classes at the last minute. As a result, he ends up with a boring subject, which was literature. At that time, Luo Zong is a freshman at Huaxia University, studying engineering. The next day, Luo Zong went to his class on campus. As he entered, he felt bored because he wasn't really into literature. The lecturer, Mr. Ju, was teaching a difficult lesson that Luo Zong couldn't understand. Mr. Ju was strict and often asked questions to the students. While Mr. Ju was teaching, Luo Zong was playing with his pen because he was bored. Mr. Ju noticed and asked Luo Zong to answer a question. This caught Luo Zong off guard, and he answered without much thought, which made everyone in the class laugh. One of the students, Zheng Hai, didn't like what happened. He wanted to impress Mr. Ju, so he scolded Luo Zong for disrespecting literature. Luo Zong didn't mean to be disrespectful, he just didn't understand the lesson. However, Zheng Hai dragged Luo Zong to Mr. Ju. Zheng Hai asked Luo Zong to apologize, but Luo Zong felt embarrassed and refused. Zheng Hai was very angry and accidentally almost knocked over Mr. Ju's coffee cup. Thankfully, Luo Zong caught it just in time. Mr. Ju wasn't upset about the coffee. He cared more about his special pineapple-textured brush, which was safe. Unfortunately, Luo Zong accidentally stepped on Mr. Ju's brush, making Zheng Hai even more upset. Then, Zheng Hai decided to report the incident to the campus dean. As Luo Zong walked to the room, he kept complaining about what happened earlier. When he arrived, Zheng Hai acted friendly and pretended to feel sorry for Luo Zong's behavior. But in reality, Zheng Hai just wanted attention. He said a lot of things that made Luo Zong look bad in front of the lecturer and the dean. The dean got really angry at Luo Zong because of what Zheng Hai said. Luo Zong was terrified because his reputation was at risk. Then, Mr. Ju intervened and asked him to buy the same rare brush that he had, knowing he would have a hard time finding it. Despite this, Luo Zong was determined to find the brush. He searched in many shops but couldn't find it anywhere. While searching, Luo Zong saw Zheng Hai wandering around the market. He decided to follow him. To Luo Zong's surprise, Zheng Hai was also looking for the brush, but he had connections to a shop owned by his uncle, who could help him find it. Zheng Hai's uncle even gave information about where to find the pineapple-textured brush. Luo Zong heard this and quickly took action to go to that place. When Luo Zong arrived, he met a woman named Shi Xie. He asked her about the brush, and she gave it to him. But then a man named Chang Hing showed up, looking for the brush. Shi Xie refused to give it to him because she knew he was a criminal. Luo Zong panicked when Chang Hing tried to steal the brush, but Chang Hing threw it away when he realized it wasn't the one he wanted. Still, Luo Zong managed to catch the pineapple-textured brush that Chang Hing threw. Meanwhile, Chang Hing found Rog's brush and tried to escape. But Shi Xie used her power to lower the temperature and attacked him with a snowflake. Chang Hing fought back, and their struggle caused the spirit brush to fly away. Luo Zong intervened and ended up with the brush stuck in his chest. He was shocked and didn't realize he was going to die. But instead, he was transported into a world of letters filled with Shakti's power. In this new world, Luo Zong gained strength and fought back against Chang Hing, surprising him with his sudden power. Long story short, Luo Zong woke up in a dream. He found himself in a small canoe on a river, wearing strange ancient clothing. He was shocked to realize he was in a dream world, but decided to explore anyway. Suddenly, a big wave hit, and he was thrown from the canoe. Soon after, he woke up from his dream to a big jolt. Wei Xie and Shi Xie, his granddaughter, were there. Wei Xie told Luo Zong he seemed weak. Confused, Luo Zong asked who Wei Xie was. There, Wei Xie explained he owned an antique shop. Luo Zong wondered why he had fainted, and Wei Xie said it was all just a hallucination. However, Luo Zong didn't believe it was just a hallucination. Wei Xie tried to convince him otherwise. Luo Zong then asked about the brush he was looking for. Wei Xie said Zinni had just bought it. Panicked, Luo Zong rushed off, feeling like he had failed. But Wei Xie gave him a cool brush to make up for it. After that, Luo Zong hurried to Mr. Zhu's house to deliver the brush. Luo Zong was surprised to find Zheng Hai there. They both went into Mr. Zhu's house. At first, Mr. Zhu ignored Luo Zong and praised Zheng Hai for finding the brush. But when Luo Zong showed his beautiful brush, Mr. Zhu got excited and used it right away. He really liked the brush Luo Zong gave him. Luo Zong didn't expect Mr. Zhu to like him. After leaving Mr. Zhu's house, Luo Zong and Zheng Hai went home. But Luo Zong stopped at an internet cafe to play games. He was shocked to find he could read ancient writing in the game. He realized he had become smart after visiting Wei Xie's shop. Soon after, Luo Zong heard a commotion outside the internet cafe. He saw the owner, Yin Zheng, being attacked by a group of thugs. Shortly after, Yin Zheng kicked them out, and Luo Zong decided to help. At first, he was scared, but he started to enjoy the fight. He even used a broom as a weapon. The thugs were tough, but Luo Zong's strength came through, and he fought them off. Yin Zheng was amazed to see how skilled Luo Zong was in martial arts. The gangsters tried to attack him, but Luo Zong fought back fiercely, making them run away. After the fight, Yin Zheng thanked Luo Zong, who felt exhausted and needed rest. He still felt overwhelmed, releasing a lot of power. That night, Luo Zong had a dream where he met a mysterious poet. When he woke up, he went outside for some fresh air and unexpectedly encountered a demon. He tried to run but was attacked and cornered. Thankfully, Shi Xie appeared and saved him from the brutal attack of the demons. Using magic, Shi Xie defeated the demon and took Luo Zong home to keep him safe from further danger. Since then, Luo Zong has been surprised by the strange things happening in his life. Though his life used to be ordinary, everything changed after the spirit brush came into his possession. So, Luo Zong and Shi Xie hurried to Wei Xie's house. When Luo Zong arrived at Wei Xie's house, he kept asking questions, but Shi Xie didn't answer. Finally, Luo Zong met Wei Xie again. Wei Xie invited him to have tea together, and Shi Xie served drinks to everyone. There, Wei Xie explained that the brush Luo Zong had been given was called the Green Lotus Brush and had been implanted in Luo Zong's body. He also told Luo Zong about the origins of the spirit brush burial ritual. Long ago, a poet was sad to see the graves of great poets. Even though he was skilled, he knew his life would be short because he was old. So, he created a ritual to transfer the spirits of poets into a brush. Whoever used the brush would gain the abilities of those poets. This surprised Luo Zong, as he now owned the brush spirit. Suddenly, a man named Li Zu appeared. He was a warrior looking for the brush spirit to kill its owner, Luo Zong. Soon after Li Zu attacked, but Wei Xie and Shi Xie stopped him. At that time Luo Zong helped defend Shi Xie when she was attacked. But Li Zu's attack was too strong, and Wei Xie got hurt protecting Luo Zong. Furious, Luo Zong attacked Li Zu back. Cornered, Li Zu prepared to escape and promised to return another time. Now, Shi was worried about his seriously injured grandfather, so they took Wei Xie to rest in the room. At that time, Wei Xie wanted Luo Zong to learn more about the poems written by Li Bai. After hearing Wei Xie's story, Luo Zong went to campus with Shi Xie. They planned to study in the library after class. On the way, Zheng Hai felt jealous and tried to take Shi Xie away from Luo Zong. There, he insulted and made fun of Luo Zong, making everyone laugh. Seeing Luo Zong being treated poorly made Shi Xie angry. He didn't stay silent and defended Luo Zong in front of everyone. His words embarrassed Zheng Hai. After that, Luo Zong and Shi Xie hurried to the library to get poetry books. They went to the park together to read. When Luo Zong didn't understand a poem, Shi Xie explained it to him so he could understand better. Meanwhile, Zheng Hai overheard a conversation about the brush spirit. He decided he wanted one too. So, he spent the whole night in his study, researching brush spirits. But he didn't find anything useful. He felt frustrated and started to resent Luo Zong because Luo Zong found the brush spirit easily while Zheng Hai struggled. Zheng Hai thought about how to find the brush spirit but was too tired and fell asleep. The next day, Luo Zong and Shi Xie went to the park for some fresh air so Luo Zong could study peacefully. Luo Zong tried to read the book, but he didn't understand it. Then, Shi Xie encouraged him to understand it quickly, hoping he would learn something about poetry. At that time, Luo Zong wanted to impress Shi Xie, so he talked confidently about poetry, making Shi Xie happy because he seemed to know a lot about ancient arts. But actually, Luo Zong had planned what to say beforehand by getting advice from Zhu the night before. Even though Luo Zong didn't really understand Li Bai's poetry, Shi Xie was still pleased with his effort to improve. During their meeting, Luo Zong also showed off a fast brush attack technique, surprising Shi Xie with his quick reflexes. After that, they both got ready for their journey. Meanwhile, Zheng Hai had a meeting with a woman named Qin Qin. Unbeknownst to him, Qin Qin planned to use Zheng Hai as a sacrifice. Later that evening, Luo Zong and Shi Xie returned to the internet cafe. Since Shi Xie needed to take care of Luo Zong, she joined him inside. Then, while Luo Zong played his favorite game, Shi Xie sat beside him to keep him company. After they finished playing, Shi Xie suggested they study together. Luo Zong agreed and followed her lead until they both got tired and Shi Xie fell asleep. Later on, Luo Zong contacted Zhu to borrow his special brush. Zhu explained that Zheng Hai had borrowed it. Hearing this, Luo Zong rushed to find Zheng Hai. When he arrived, he was shocked to find Zheng Hai unconscious. Luo Zong checked the room and discovered that Qin Qin had captured Zheng Hai and was using him for experiments. When Luo Zong saw what was happening, he quickly pretended to be Zheng Hai. But Qin Qin saw through his lie and attacked him. Luo Zong dodged and tried to rescue Zheng Hai, but Qin Qin caught him and attacked him brutally. He was shocked by the power of her brush and ended up lying on the ground, trapped by her chains. Feeling helpless, Luo Zong tried to stand up and figure out a way to fight back. He summoned his inner strength and bravely confronted Qin Qin, surprising her with his abilities. Qin Qin realized that Luo Zong was the one who possessed the green lotus brush spirit. Now, Luo Zong is filled with excitement, eager to defeat Qin Qin, who has been rude and arrogant, especially for using Zheng Hai as a sacrifice. With deadly techniques, Luo Zong manages to defeat Qin Qin easily and rushes to save Zheng Hai from danger, taking him to an internet cafe for safety. Soon after, Shi Xie provides first aid to Zheng Hai, but unfortunately, he doesn't wake up because his spirit is partly controlled by evil forces. Then, Zheng Hai's father arrives, takes his son away, and gives money to Luo Zong as thanks for his help. Zheng Hai's father warns Luo Zong not to associate with shamans like Shi Xie, which surprises Luo Zong. Later, Luo Zong realizes an item he took from Qin Qin is missing and discovers Yin Zhang has taken it and been affected by its power. Luo Zong and Shi Xie quickly attend to Yin Zhang until he regains consciousness, feeling strange afterward. At the same time, some criminals sent soldiers from the graveyard, causing zombies to attack Luo Zong and his friends. Luo Zong tried his best to protect everyone, but during the chaos, he also studied how to use Yin Zhang's brush. However, he got affected by magic, so Shi Xie worked hard to bring him back to normal. After a fierce battle, they finally emerged victorious. Yin Zhang discovered his healing power during the fight. Later, they went to the hospital to check on Zheng Hai's condition. There, Luo Zong met Zhu, who was also visiting Zheng Hai. They talked about Zheng Hai's situation. In Wei Xie's shop, Wei Xie was seen discussing Luo Zong with someone. Unfortunately, Luo Zong overheard a conversation between Shi Xie and Wei Xie, revealing that he was just being used by Wei Xie's family. This revelation led to an argument between Luo Zong and Shi Xie. Eventually, Luo Zong decided to leave. Then, Wei Xie complained about Shi Xie being careless for being discovered by Luo Zong, but everything had already happened, and they needed to come up with a new plan. On his own, Luo Zong walked out of the room where Zheng Hai was being treated, feeling angry because he believed Shi Xie and Wei Xie had betrayed him. He had trusted them both, thinking they genuinely cared for him. Feeling hurt, Luo Zong decided to distance himself, fearing further betrayal. As he walked, Luo Zong encountered Qin Qin, who tried to persuade him to join her. Soon after, Qin Qin offered to help Luo Zong use his power to replace the graveyard messengers who were also after him. This revelation shocked Luo Zong, making him realize that he had been used by everyone for their own agendas. Because of that, Luo Zong still didn't trust Qin Qin's words completely. But Qin Qin insisted that Luo Zong was hurt from being lied to by Shi Xie. Luo Zong was surprised because it seemed Qin Qin knew his secret. Soon after, Qin Qin took Luo Zong with her to find an item that could cure Xinghai, as they agreed before. Luo Zong agreed to help Qin Qin on the condition that she saved Xinghai's life. But when they got to the car, Qin Qin shocked Luo Zong with a gun and kidnapped him. During the journey, Luo Zong tried to escape, but he was locked in the car's trunk. He tried to contact Yin Zhang, but couldn't speak because he was being held captive. Shortly after, they arrived at the Feiyuan Temple, where Qin Qin planned to kill Luo Zong to replace the brush spirit that had been taken from her the day before. Out of the blue, a monk named Bai Dao and his companion Xu Zhao showed up. Xu Zhao ordered Bai Dao to arrest Qin Qin, but she fought back and managed to escape. This made Luo Zong feel uneasy, and he even considered fighting against Bai Dao and Xu Zhao. However, Bai Dao explained that they were there to help Luo Zong. Then, Bai Dao revealed that all brush holders were searching for the owner of a special type of brush, including Luo Zong's green lotus brush. He explained that Luo Zong's brush could open the brush tomb, which shocked Luo Zong. Bai Dao explained that the brush tomb was a parallel world full of powerful sources. As they talked about the brush tomb, Yin Zhang suddenly appeared and attacked Xu Zhao. Turns out, Yin Zhang had tracked Luo Zong's location through the phone. He overheard their conversation and decided to join them. However, they soon realized that enemies were approaching. Bai Dao and his companion hid themselves. Unexpectedly, Changhing arrived with a hostage to be used as a sacrifice. When Changhing wanted to attack his target, Luo Zong and his friends stepped in to stop him. They came out of hiding and confronted Changhing. Despite this, Changhing was pleased to see them. He was ready to get back the brush spirit from his target's body, but Luo Zong stopped him because he was shocked by Changhing's cruelty. In response, Luo Zong and his friends fought against Changhing. Changhing, determined to destroy Luo Zong and his friends, also fought back. It's important to note that Luo Zong had a special brush, which Changhing wanted to control. Soon after, Changhing launched a fierce attack, but Bai Dao intervened to stop the chaos. This annoyed Changhing, as he felt a monk like Bai Dao shouldn't meddle in his affairs. Then, the fight intensified. But, despite being cornered, Luo Zong tried to prevent Changhing from taking the brush spirit. However, Changhing ultimately succeeded and killed his target. After Luo Zong witnessed Changhing killing someone, Yin Zhang stepped in to help by using his magic to heal Luo Zong. But Luo Zong refused because he remembered that Yin Zhang's magic had turned into poison when they were attacked by zombies before. Seeing Yin Zhang trying to help, Changhing attacked him to stop him from interfering. Despite being hit, Yin Zhang managed to use his poison magic on Changhing, surprising him and allowing Changhing's spirit brush to enter Luo Zong's body. Now, Luo Zong had two spirits inside him. He took this opportunity to fight back against Changhing, ultimately defeating him and ensuring their survival. Later, Yin Zhang handed Luo Zong a letter from Shi Xie. Inside, they found a poetic message. Unable to understand it, Luo Zong and Bai Dao became curious and decided to investigate further. The next day, Luo Zong and Bai Dao went to Bai Dao's village to gather information. Meanwhile, Yin Zhang and Xu Zhao were assigned to explore the brush tomb by Bai Dao, so they split up. In the village, Bai Dao met his father, Pat Dao. Luo Zong was surprised to learn that Bai Dao came from a wealthy family. Bai Dao told his father about the brush, but instead of helping, Pat Dao trapped them both because he wanted Luo Zong's excellent brush for himself. Luo Zong, who had good endurance, managed to hold onto two brushes. While Pat Dao rested in his room, Bai Dao's uncle arrived and advised him. Eventually, Pat Dao released Luo Zong and Bai Dao. There, he apologized and shared information about Changhing's brush. Tragically, Pat Dao suddenly passed away, shocking Luo Zong. Bai Dao realized that his father died due to foul play. They suspected witchcraft. Despite this, they were accused of killing Pat Dao, causing chaos in the village. Soon after, Luo Zong turned to Bai Dao for help, but Bai Dao was unsure of what to do. Still, Bai Dao decided to suggest they run away together. Along the way, Bai Dao remembered a temple where villagers kept spiritual brushes. They hurried there, thinking it might hold a way out. They knew the brush thief had recently escaped from there, and Bai Dao was convinced there must be a secret exit. When Luo Zong realized Bai Dao didn't have a spiritual brush, he offered him one. But Bai Dao refused, saying Luo Zong alone couldn't handle it, let alone himself. He believed Luo Zong still struggled to accept his role as the spiritual brush's owner. This made Luo Zong realize the burden the brush brought. He had to constantly watch his back, fearing for his life. The next day, Luo Zong and Bai Dao went exploring and stumbled upon a hidden passage. They found a wall sliced by a sword. At that time, Luo Zong used his strength to break through, and they continued together until Bai Dao decided to go his own way to investigate his father's death. Later, Luo Zong stayed overnight with Yin Zhang as they had plans for the next day. Unable to sleep, Luo Zong was troubled by thoughts of Shi Xia. At that moment, Yin Zhang noticed and advised him not to dwell on it, reminding him that crying over a woman was pointless. The following day, Luo Zong and Yin Zhang journeyed to another temple, but were attacked by members of Zhao Gu's family. There, Luo Zong fought back, but they were outnumbered. Seeing that, Yin Zhang used magic to intervene. While Lin Lin launched her attack, aiming to snatch Luo Zong's brush, he swiftly dodged and tried to defend himself. Despite his efforts, he couldn't evade all of Lin Lin's strikes. Meanwhile, Yin Zhang was ensnared by Pan Pan's magic, and the two found themselves in a strange room where they exchanged words. Soon after, Yin Zhang devised a plan while Pan Pan boasted, confident that Yin Zhang would fail. On the other hand, Luo Zong persisted in his efforts to fend off Lin Lin's relentless assault. Yet, strength proved overwhelming, easily repelling his attacks. Eventually, Yin Zhang broke free and used his poison magic to injure Pan Pan severely. However, Yin Zhang was taken aback to see Luo Zong still struggling against Lin Lin. In the midst of their battle, they accidentally disturbed a grave, releasing a vengeful spirit that attacked them all unexpectedly. At that time, Luo Zong was really surprised when he saw a mean, huge ghost. But he didn't waste time and jumped in to protect Lin Lin from getting hurt by that ghost. He made a strong shield to keep her safe. Then, Lin Lin got scared when Luo Zong got too close, so she smacked him. But Luo Zong didn't like that and told her she should be thankful because he was helping her. Soon after, Pan quickly pulled Lin Lin away from Luo Zong's shield because they needed to run away right away. There, Luo Zong told Yin Zhang to run too. Yin Zhang was curious about how Luo Zong made the shield. But Luo Zong said he didn't know either because he was confused about how he did it. Now, Lin Lin and Pan were having trouble escaping, so Luo Zong lent a hand. While they were trying to get away, they also came up with a plan to calm down the angry ghost named Bian Chai. But every time they tried to escape, they ended up back where they started. Luo Zong and his friends were getting worried. To make their shield stronger, they grabbed their brushes and helped each other out. Then, Pan explained that Luo Zong had saved Lin Lin, and because of that, he might have received a special gift. He still looked young even after using many brushes. They also heard that the ghost Bian Chai mentioned the name Shu Lai. When Pan heard this, he remembered that Bian Chai had hidden a document of beautiful poetry in the past. The king of China once asked Bian Chai for this document, but Bian Chai denied having it and hid it on purpose. Then, one day, Bian Chai met Shu Lai. They got close because they had a lot in common, and Bian Chai was happy to have a friend like Shu Lai. But Shu Lai took advantage of Bian Chai's trust and went after the secret document. This led to Bian Chai's death, and now Bian Chai's spirit is filled with anger towards his friend. Because of this, Bian Chai's ghost wanders around, seeking revenge. After hearing the story, Luo Zong understood why Bian Chai's spirit was so furious. So, it was because of betrayal. Then, he asked Lin Lin for help to destroy Bian Chai's tomb, believing that it would stop the spirit's anger. Besides that, Luo Zong wanted to remove the brush from his body. Soon after, Luo Zong and Lin Lin teamed up to take action. Luo Zong had Yin Zhang with him for protection. Whenever someone got hurt, Yin Zhang used his abilities to heal them. Lin also used her powers, but it made Bian Chai's spirit even angrier because Lin Lin accidentally destroyed the ashes of his body. Bian Chai's rage caused chaos, Then suddenly, Luo Zong's brush flew towards Bian Chai's spirit. Surprisingly, the brush gave advice and guidance, calming Bian Chai down. Eventually, Bian Chai cried and his spirit vanished, making everything safe again. Luo Zong and his friends finally got a moment to rest because they were exhausted from the ordeal. Suddenly, Wei Xia and Shi Xia showed up. They took Bian Chai's brush and kept it. Luo Zong wanted to fight Wei Xia, but he was too tired. Wei Xia was strong enough to throw Luo Zong's body far away. When Shi Xia approached Luo Zong, he asked her to leave immediately. Unexpectedly, Chang Hing showed up and invited his sister Lin Lin to bring Luo Zong to their family home. When they arrived home, there was a big celebration because they had managed to bring Luo Zong. However, Chang Hing asked Lin Lin to kill Luo Zong and his friends right away because they knew too much about their family secrets. Shortly after, Lin Lin attacked Luo Zong and Yin Zhang in the underground prison. Seeing that, Chang Hing was pleased because Lin Lin was following his orders. But it turned out to be a trick by the Zhaogyu family to expose Chang Hing's crimes. At that time, Chang Hing tried to defend himself by claiming that Luo Zong and Yin Zhang had killed their family members. However, Lin Lin knew that Chang Hing was lying. Chang Hing became more suspicious because he had hidden the truth about their family members' deaths. Shortly after, officials from the Zhaogyu family arrived with Pan Pan. They questioned Luo Zong and Yin Zhang. They thought Luo Zong seemed suspicious, so he used a special brush that reveals the truth. Suddenly, the brush showed that Luo Zong was innocent because it couldn't answer directly. But Chang Hing disagreed because he was scared his crimes would be revealed. He attacked someone else, but Luo Zong and Yin Zhang stopped him. The hidden criminal was caught, so Luo Zong and his friends were safe with the Zhaogyu family. Later, Luo Zong met Zhaogyu and realized that Li Zhu, who attacked him before, was mistaken. There, Luo Zong and Li Zhu talked to clear up the misunderstanding. After that event, Luo Zong and Yin Zhang found themselves under constant watch. However, they spent their days playing and having fun without any worries. Then, one day, Luo Zong received a voice message from Bai Dao about the Lutian Temple and the tomb of the Brush Divider. At that time, Lin Lin overheard this conversation and helped Luo Zong escape. But in return, Luo Zong had to help Lin Lin seek revenge on those who troubled the Zhaogyu family. During their journey, they discovered that the base guard also possessed a spiritual brush. So, they decided to attack and successfully escaped. Long story short, Luo Zong ended up in the hospital where Bai Dao was being treated. There, Bai Dao told Luo Zong that his uncle, who had welcomed them previously, had misbehaved. Bai Dao decided to follow his uncle and found him meeting the owner of the spiritual brush, discussing their plan to open the illusion portal. Despite this, Bai Dao still believes that his uncle and the Zhaogyu family aren't connected. He thinks someone else is trying to cause trouble between them. Meanwhile, Lin Lin and Yin Zhang were shocked. They didn't know Pan Pan and his group had already dealt with the bandits. Then, Yin Zhang suggested Pan Pan might have wanted to protect Lin Lin. On the other hand, Lin Lin and Yin Zhang decided to keep going, feeling uneasy. When they peeked at the temple, they saw Pan Pan and his men being attacked by a third party. It was the same person who had sent the Grave Brush army after Luo Zong before, named Gao Pao. He was with someone disguised as Li Zhu from the Zhaogyu family, named Tong Chao. There, Yin Zhang stopped Lin Lin from intervening, fearing it would make things worse. He warned her to be cautious. Meanwhile, Luo Zong was worried because Lin Lin and Yin Zhang didn't inform him of what was happening. Soon after, he hurried to the temple. On the other hand, Lin Lin, enraged by the attack on her family, launched a counterattack with Yin Zhang. However, they were overpowered by the enemy's strength. Shortly after, Luo Zong arrived and witnessed the enemy's crimes. He remembered Tong Chao, who had previously disguised himself, and immediately attacked. But to his surprise, Luo Zong's abilities were no match for the enemy. Despite this setback, Luo Zong wasn't disheartened and prepared to keep fighting. Unfortunately, he and his friends were badly injured by the brutal enemy. They lay on the ground, their spirits separated from their bodies. Tong Chao advised Luo Zong to listen to him. During the conversation, Tong Chao explained that the real Lutian Temple had been destroyed in the past. The temple they were in was just a copy and had nothing to do with the Brush Divider. He also said that Luo Zong needed to enter the realm of illusion, not the Lutian Temple. Hearing that, Luo Zong agreed to follow Tong Chao's orders to save his friend's spirits. Together, they went to the main temple. Luo Zong opened the entrance to the illusion. Inside, everything seemed peaceful, but tense when two yellow dragons appeared. Luo Zong stayed alert, fearing the dragons might attack, but luckily, they left him alone. Meanwhile, Gao Pao and Tong Chao were thrilled because they had successfully trapped Luo Zong. They believed that anyone who entered the illusion realm would be killed by the yellow dragon, allowing them to steal Luo Zong's brush and his friend's brushes. However, things didn't go as planned. Instead of being attacked, Luo Zong was greeted by the spirit of a monk named Hua Su. This spirit wasn't the real Hua Su, who had passed away, but a guardian spirit left behind in the illusion realm. Soon after, Luo Zong received a warm welcome because he only buys brush spirit. There, Hua Su offered him some special water with healing properties, which surprised Luo Zong when he drank it and felt his body instantly become stronger. Later, Luo Zong shared the story of their adventures with Hua Su, intending to separate the brush from his body to save his friends. However, Hua Su explained that he couldn't offer much help as he was just a spirit. As Luo Zong noticed some leaves on the table, he remembered a poem that might aid him in his quest. Meanwhile, Gao Pao was feeling bored and wanted to play with Lin Lin. However, Yin Zheng suddenly stood up and attacked Gao Pao. This surprised Gao Pao because Yin Zheng noticed his intentions easily. On the other hand, Luo Zong explained to Hua Su that he had given a life pill to Yin Zheng, hoping it would help him wake up and revive the others. Long story short, they rose up and faced Tong Chao again. With the support of the guardian spirit Hua Su, Luo Zong gained extra strength. Just as Lin Lin and the others were struggling, Luo Zong joined the fight. When he saw Yin Zheng badly injured, Luo Zong became furious with Tong Chao and used a powerful poem to try and save him. The officials from the Zhao Gu family also discovered that Luo Zong was using a special martial arts book called A Line of Corrosive Songs. With its help, Luo Zong managed to defeat Tong Chao and put an end to him. He realized that all the problems seemed to stem from the same source. After defeating Tong Chao, Luo Zong healed Yin Zheng and ensured everyone's safety. However, Luo Zong decided to abandon his plan to separate the brush from his body. He knew he would face challenges ahead with his two brushes by his side, but he was ready to face them. Despite the constant danger to his life, Luo Zong accepted his fate, and the story concludes here. The film ends. So the moral of the story is, procrastinating on picking classes might lead you to a boring literature course, but hey, you might also end up with superpowers, battling zombies, and saving the day with a magical brush.